Hi, my name is Robert Enteman and I operate geekapproach.com. Today I thought I would go through creating an SSH key to use to sign into your boxes over, or in addition to, a password depending upon your security preferences. There are two parts to an SSH key, a private key and a public key. The private key should only be known to you or your machines. The public key can be shared with any box you'd like to have access to. We'll be using a program called SSH Keys, which is resident on Mac, Linux, and other Nix-based OSs. To begin, go ahead and open up a terminal window which should look somewhat similar to mine. Type in the following command, ssh-keygen -t space RSA. For this example, we'll leave the default file name and location intact, and we'll do this one without a passcode. That's really all there is to it. You should have two new files within your home folder. Within, your .ssh folder. We use the default file names, so id_rsa.pub and id_rsa should both exist within this directory. The pub file is the public key, and the non-extension file is the private key. Now, I'm of the opinion that you should use different keys to identify different machines and services. So we're going to do this one more time and provide some more specific details this time. Again, type in ssh-keygen -t RSA. And this time we're going to specify a different file name. I'm using this one for Geek Approach, so I'll call this one Geek ID, but you can call it whatever you want. And again, we'll leave no password. It's important for you to note that this gives you added security measures of needing a specific public key and a different password than the one associated with your remote user account should you provide one. Like I said, I prefer to leave this blank. Now that I have a key, we need to upload it to the server. In most Linux distros, there's a handy utility called ssh-copy-id. For whatever reason, Mac OS X, at least on Mavericks, does not support this, so we'll have to go a bit more roundabout way of doing things. We'll push our file up using SCP, which stands for Secure Copy. So, in terminal, we'll type and we'll push it to whatever user and box you're going to be SSHing into all the time. And for me, it's junk account at geekapproach.com. If this is your first time SSHing in, we'll go ahead and accept the fingerprint. Never signed in on this box before, and you put in your password. And as you can see, we've securely copied a file up into geekapproach.com. So now what we'll need to do is we'll need to SSH into that machine directly. So we'll run that. And again, it'll ask us for a password. Fantastic. Now that we're in, we're going to manually make the requisite directory in our box and append our uploaded file to any previously authorized keys on the account. So we'll begin and see if the file's even here. There's geekid.pub, it did move up. So we'll go ahead and make an SSH directory. And we're going to cat the file that we uploaded to the list of authorized keys that may already be involved on the account. Now, in my case, I just created this directory, so I know that there's nothing in it, but it's probably a safe bet to do this either way. And finally, we'll remove the old ID file. Now, we need to go set permissions on the directories and files that we just created. And that's it. We can now disconnect from the server. At this stage, we are not done adding the authorized key to your account. You're probably asking, I wanted to not have to type my password in each time I SSH in. I want to prefer the new key that I uploaded instead. On your local machine, we can specify a config file that SSH will read upon executing an SSH command. So, back in terminal and on your local machine, run the following command. You may have a blank file just like me, but that's okay. We're going to put some stuff in here in a second. We'll begin by commenting a line prefaced with a hash symbol for this entry. It's for Geek Approach, so I'm going to go ahead and run it like that. The first line we need is a host name. This is the actual server that you're going to be working towards. You can alternatively specify an IP address, but sometimes my servers move around, so I tend to just specify the name address. The kicker here is this line, preferred authentications. And this specifies that when SSHing into a box, this config file will look for your key in order to facilitate the logon process rather than a password. What's also important is you could specify more than one option here, either a public key and then the password. Maybe you have one and not both, but for our purposes, I'm going to only include one for this user account. I also need to point my config file at the actual private version of my key, which is sitting here in my home directory /.ssh, and I called it geekid. We'll hit Control-O to write out this file, save it, and then we'll hit Control-X to bail out of Nano. Now, if I attempt to do an SSH into the account, in theory what should happen is my config file should go look at my key, and the private key matches what's on the server, and we should just hop right in. And we do. Success! I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or concerns, and thanks for watching.